everyone, my name is Media Salsabila. You can call me Media. Here's my film about Principal 2. Enjoy!
Maybe you've experienced this when you are hanging out with your friends or your family or your boyfriend or girlfriend. You have trouble to choosing a place to eat. The first person say, "Where are we going to eat?" The second person say, "Whatever." These are some examples of making decisions for simple things. Now we're going to talk about how we make much bigger decisions. For example, where do you want to college? Who do you want to marry? Where do you want to buy a house? Maybe we often think for a long time before deciding something, especially when it comes to things that we think are important. The concept of opportunity cost is simple. In Indonesian, it might be called opportunity cost. The concept is simple. Every choice we make, there is an advantage that is lost because we don't take other alternatives. I have 3 parts of effective ways to make decisions. Part 1. Understanding the source of your fear. Number 1. Write about your fears. Journaling about your fears may help you to start to understand them and make a better decision as a result. Start by writing about the decisions you need to make. Describe or list everything that you are worried about regarding these decisions. Allow yourself to vent about these fears without judging yourself for having them. The second, identify the worst case scenario. Once you have written about the decision you need to make and why you have fear regarding that decisions, take it a step further. Try to identify the worst case scenario for each and every possible choice. Number 3, consider whether the decisions you make will be permanent. Once you have thought about everything that could go wrong, think about whether the decisions is reversible. Most decisions are reversible, so you can take comfort in knowing that if you hate your decisions, you can always make a change to fix the situation later on. Number 4, talk to a friend or family member. Don't feel like you have to make a tough decisions all by yourself. Enlist the help of a trusted friend or family member to help you or at least listen to your concerns. Share the details about the decisions as well as your fears about what could go wrong. It may make you feel better to just vocalize your fears about the decisions, and your friend or your family member may have some regret advice and reassuring words for you. Here's part 2, considering the decision. First, you have to stay calm. Riding high on emotions, either positive or negative, can impact your ability to make a rational decisions. When you have any decisions to make, the first step should generally be to stay as calm as possible. If you can stay calm, put off making the decisions until you're thinking clearly. The second, get as much information as possible. Most decisions are made better when you have enough information to make an informed decisions. Making decisions, especially if they are about important topics, should rely on logic. Do some research to find out as much as you can about your decisions. The third, think about who's affected. First and foremost, you should consider how your decision affects you. Specifically, how does your decisions affect how you consider yourself as a person? What are your values and goals? Making decisions that are not value congruent, they don't align with the core beliefs that drive you, can leave you feeling unhappy and dissatisfied. And the last, list all of your options. At first sight, it may appear that there is only one course of action, but that is usually not true. Even if your situation list seems limited, try to make a list of alternatives. Don't try to evaluate them until you've got a full list. Be thorough. If you're having trouble thinking of alternative, brainstorm with some family or friends. Here's part 3. First, advise yourself as if you were a friend. Sometimes, taking a step back from the decision can help you to determine the right choice. Think about what you would tell a good friend who was struggling with the same decision. What decision would you advise them to make? What would you try to get them to see about that decision? Why would you counsel them in this way? Try role-playing to use this strategy. Sit beside an empty chair and pretend that you are talking to yourself as if you were someone else. The second, consider whether you are feeling guilty. Making a decision out of guilt is common, but guilt is not a helpful motivator for healthy decision making. Guilt often twists our perception of events and outcomes so that we are not seeing them or our role in them clearly. Guilt can be particularly common for working women who face extra social pressure to perfectly balance work and family life. Doing things because we feel guilty can also be harmful because it can lead us to make decisions that are not congruent with our values. The third, think about the future. At the end of the day, the best way to make a decision is to think about how you are going to feel about it in a few years. Think about what you'll think of yourself when you look in the mirror, how you'll explain it to your grandkids. If you don't like what the long-term repercussions are going to be, you may need to rethink your approach. The fourth, trust your instincts. You probably have a sense of which decision is the right one. So, if all else fails, you should go with your gut. Make your decision based on what feels right even if the spreadsheet says otherwise. Research has shown that people who make decisions based on how they feel tend to be more satisfied with their decisions than people who carefully weigh them out. First, ask yourself what you want to do. Chances are you have a good sense of which decision will make you feel the happiest, and you should lean toward the decisions. The fifth, have a backup plan. Thinking ahead may help you to feel less bothered by any possible negative outcomes. Make a backup plan to deal with your worst-case scenario. Even if you are unlikely to need this plan, simply having a backup plan will help you to feel better equipped to deal with the worst-case scenario. People who are in leadership positions are expected to always have a backup plan because there is always a chance that something might go wrong. The strategy may be helpful for making minor decisions as well. Having a backup plan will also allow you to respond to unforeseen challenges or setbacks with flexibility. Your ability to adapt to unexpected circumstances can directly affect your ability to succeed with your decision. And the last, make a choice. No matter which decisions you make, be prepared to accept responsibility for every outcome. If things don't work out, it's always better to have made a conscious decision than to have been careless. At least you can say that you did the best you could. Make your decisions and be ready to stand by it. Here's some tips for you. First, no scenario is perfect. Once you have made a decision, carry it out wholeheartedly as best as you can without regrets and without worrying about the other alternatives you did not pick. After your decision is made, new major information may come to light suggesting alterations to or the wholesale reversal of your original decisions. Be willing to go through the decision-making process again if this happens. Here's some warning for you. Stay away from people who make it seem as though they want what's best for you, but assume they know that there is and you don't. Their suggestions might be right, but if they refuse to account for your feelings and concerns, they might be very, very wrong as well. Also, stay away from people who shoot down your beliefs. The last, avoid stressing yourself too much. That will only make things worse. Thank you guys for your attention. Thank you for watching. Hope this can be useful for you. Thank you.